Hi everyone, and welcome to Sip and Stitch. My name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials with y'all, and we get together one Friday every month for a tutorial. We show it live from start to finish. Grab your cup of coffee or your beverage of choice. I'm so excited that you're here. I hope you are all having a wonderful Friday so far, and just going to check the chat and make sure everybody can hear and see me okay. I see Patty and Betty and Kathy and Melanie and Joe are here. Thank y'all so much for joining me and everyone else. I'm super excited about today's project because I always like to try and get outside of my comfort zone, and I've been doing that more with sewing. And so today, instead of doing what I would normally do, which is just embroider something that I purchased, whether it be online in an embroidery blank or even something I grab at Walmart or Target, today I'm going to try and make an item by sewing it. We're going to embroider it first and then sew it. So welcome everyone. I'm excited. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I have any announcements before I start. I don't think we have too much going on. Let's see. Oh, if you watched live yesterday, I am doing a weekly sew along for another project, kind of getting outside, and it's going to show when I outside of my comfort zone, with making a quilt. But it's special because all of the blocks for the quilt are made in the hoop in the embroidery machine, and then I just have to piece or sew it together. So yesterday was week 3 of our sew along, and we're sewing this quilt from Kimberbell called the Oh So Delightful quilt. And let's see, the week before last we stitched the scissors and the So Happy, and then yesterday we stitched what's called the filler blocks, which are just the empty blocks that just have a quilting design on them, like this one here. So we stitched all that, and after the live was over, I pieced all of it together, but I filmed it when I did it, and there's a little short video on YouTube and Facebook now with how we did it. But after it was all over, I was looking at it and I was like, it's odd that they have this, lighter pink fabric and then this darker pink fabric right next to each other. I would think you would want a little bit more contrast. So this is what caught my eye, and I was like, huh. And then I go and I look at the book for the thing. I don't know where it is. I messed up when I pieced it together. This was supposed to be flipped. I should have, when I had this ready, I should have sewn it on this end, and this whole 3 pieces here should have been turned over. So it still looks good to me. I don't know if I dislike it enough to rip it apart and resew it. So I'm just going to keep looking at it, and if it bothers me, I will rip it and sew it in the correct order. But right now it doesn't bother me enough to want to do that. But we learn as we go. So that was the sew along project that's happening every Thursday. You can visit my website, carlybell.com, and you will see a post where it has all the information for the sew along. But I'm very proud of my little piece. And so that is section 1 of the quilt, and there are 4 sections. So we're going to start on section 2 next Thursday. And I have a free, if you're interested in doing this sew along, I have a free little, oh, there's my book, printable that you can go grab. So this is what the quilt's going to look like. And you can see it was supposed to be red, then yellow, then blue, then those 2 little blocks. And I got it reversed. It's fine. But I did make this free printable, like an organization information sheet to help guide you as you're putting this quilt together, just to kind of have all the information in one nice visible place, rather than going through the book a million times. Everything kind of organized a little better. So that's for free to download if you want to do this sew along. And by all means, if you can't do it with us right now, it's all recorded. So you can, when you're ready, like you have another project going on right now, you can go back and watch the recordings whenever you have free time, and then you can work on that quilt. So that's the great thing about all of these lives. So even though I'm live right now and they got plenty of people that can't come at 10:30 in the morning on a Friday, it's recorded. So you can watch it at 10:30 at night if you want to. And we used to do nighttime sip and stitches, which the sip was a little more interesting than coffee, but I can't do that anymore. Because just family life is so crazy. I actually have to be at church this evening at 6 o'clock. We're having a family activity, catechism class. So like things like that always happen on Friday nights now. So it doesn't work out good. So, but mornings are good. Coffee is still good. Okay, moving on. Today's project. Now, one of the things that got me into embroidery was baby items. Like when I had Abigail, going on 13 years ago now. I can't believe she's going to be a teenager. I got all these beautiful presents at my baby shower of embroidered burp cloths, bibs, onesies, a blanket with her name on it. Never did notice embroidery before in my life, I don't think, until I got those baby items. And I'm like, I love this. I want all of her things to look like this. And then when you go and try and buy those things, the price adds up a lot. And then I'm like, I want to learn how to do this myself. And that's what got me into embroidery. So I made so many things. We got a machine, I think, when Abigail was 1. My aunt got a machine first, and then I got my machine, and then it's all took off from there. And then when Elise was born, Elise is 4 years younger than Abigail. She was set up from the get-go. I had everything made for her. And I would buy really pretty ruffled burp cloths. These are from Blank's Boutique. Or you can just buy the Gerber ones at Walmart or Target. Sometimes you can find them in cute color schemes, but most of the time they're just white, which is like the cloth diaper. You can buy those and embroider on them. But whenever you do that, the back side of the burp cloth is going to show the embroidery, right? So I wanted to make something a little bit fancier today. And so I made my own burp cloth and I embroidered it first and then sewed it. So you don't see the embroidery is now hidden on the inside of the burp cloth. And I thought it would be fun. I've seen it done before with these kind of burp cloths. Well, someone will go in after and sew like a pretty patterned fabric at the bottom. So I did that on here. So this is a pretty flannel material that I got. And I just added it to have like an accent at the bottom of the burp cloth. So this is what we are making today. All right. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm checking the chat. All right. So yes, this is what we are making today. So let's go over the supplies and what you need. Now, I eyeballed this and I was like, what size is this burp cloth? And I measured it and it's about 18 by 9, I think 18 by 9 inches. And I'm like, I'll just go off of that. This can be any size that you want. If you want it to be skinnier, if you want it to be a lot wider and fold it like this one is, by all means, make the dimensions whatever you want, and you can play around and make different ones in different dimensions. All of that is going to be personal preference. There's no hard, fast rules. It needs to be 9 inches wide. And if you miscut something like I do, and make it, an inch shorter than you initially intended to, that's fine as well. Just work with what you have. But I went just gauging off of this burp cloth is 9 inches wide and 18 inches long. And then my little accent piece is about 4.5 inches. Again, personal preference. If you want to make that a little skinnier border at the bottom, you could add a border at the bottom and the top if you wanted to. You could make this thicker. You can make it half of it. Again, have fun with this. Do whatever you like. But I'm going to show you how I made this one today. All right. Let me go to the craft table so y'all can see. Now, as far as the materials for this was something that I found at Walmart, and it's called diaper cloth. I have not gone to Hobby Lobby or what's left of Joann's, unfortunately, and I don't really have any quilt shops close to me. There is one uptown I've been meaning to go to forever. I live in New Orleans. And I go to the city. The city's like 20 minutes away from me. But it's usually for like events and stuff. But I need to go track down. They have a quilt shop uptown. I need to go track down. So I don't know if this you can find at a local quilt shop or where. I'm just telling you where I found it. And I think I put a link to it in the description. So anytime you're looking for something, I'm going to put this at the bottom. For this project, if you visit my website, carlybell.com, you'll see, icons for the sip and stitch. And it's the sip and stitch homepage. And that's going to have all the info for the latest project. And then once that project is finished, I make a whole blog post for it. Let me show y'all this because I've been trying to be better about my website and keeping up with it. All right, let me go. The screen's going to look crazy for a second. All right, so here's my website, carlybell.com. And sip and stitch. You can either go here and go to homepage, or this button brings you, and this brings you to the page I update every time we have sip and stitch. And I also updated the schedule until May. So this is today's project. And then in April, we're going to make a book tote bag. And in May, we're going to make a luggage tag. And then I take off for the summer since I have my kids home for the summer. And then I usually come back in August. And I'll have that updated then. Okay, so here's today's project. And here's the diaper cloth. So when I click on that, that takes me to Walmart's website. And it comes with 2 yards, $5.47. It says free shipping. So if they don't have it in your store, you should be able to have it shipped to you. So like my store saying it's out of stock. But anyway, that is the diaper cloth. And then all the stabilizers and everything I'm using is there, and the machine. Oh, here's info on that sew along I was telling you about, and then that's it. And then this is the last month's sip and stitch. But going back to the home page, you can either scroll or just go to where it says blog. And this is all the blog posts. So here's one on the sew along. This is March's sip and stitch. This is February sip and stitch. This was, no, I'm missing one. Which one did we do? This is January. This is February. We are in March. We're doing Marches today. I'm looking at the holidays and what month they're in. So once you click on that, it will show you the video for that project, the supplies again, and then like step-by-step instructions where I took pictures from the video and kind of show you everything to do. So I just wanted to tell you about that to hopefully make it easier for you to navigate these projects, because I know the home page is like, if you're watching this video, in September of this year, and we're in March right now, the Sip and Sip homepage is not going to look the same. So that's when you just can look through the blog posts. All right. So diaper cloth fabric, Walmart, or if you find it somewhere else, let me know and I will share with everyone where to find it. Then this is flannel. You could use any material for your bottom strip. I'm sure a woven cotton would also be nice. I thought this would be fun in that it's a little thicker and it's really soft. So that's the two materials. Now, as far as cut size goes, I added a 1/2 inch to my overall dimensions to allow for seam allowance. Now, with the diaper cloth, I ended up cutting one long piece that is, I think, what, 28 inches. 28 inches. And then I folded it like this. So when it's like this, it's 14 inches this way when it's folded in half, and then 9.5 inches this way. All right, so either cut yourself 2 pieces that are 14 by 9.5, or cut yourself 1 piece that is 28 by 9.5. And that's, like I said, if you want to go with the same dimensions that I'm doing for my burp cloth. All right, now the little accent piece of the flannel, I cut 2 pieces. Again, they are 9.5 inches wide and they're 5 inches tall. So that after I take in my seam allowance, they'll be 4.5 like the one I made already. So does all that make sense? Diaper cloth. And I'll make sure to write this in the blog post after if you want it written out for you. Or just so that you could see it later when you're, but 9.5 inches wide, 5 inches tall, and I got 2 pieces of that. All right, now the first thing we're going to do is actually embroider the diaper cloth, and then we're going to sew it all together. Now I posted a what is it called, a poll in my Facebook group, and oh, you know, I never printed. I wanted to print the design. Let me see if it's going to work since my computer is plugged into the modem right now. Oh yeah, it does work. Okay, let me show you the website of the design. Do this. Boom. Website. Okay, so the first burp cloth that I did, I got the cute little bow that was on top from this website, and I found this website because my cousin wants me to make a like a door hanger kind of birth announcement, and I found a design she liked doing a Google search with this website, but I think I've heard of this website before. But it's Southern Baby Classics, really, really pretty embroidery designs. And what I did was I went to Monogram frames, and I just looked at all of these, and I grabbed the ones that really stood out to me. I love the Disney ones. If I knew this burp cloth is for my neighbor, if I knew they were Disney fans, I definitely would make this, but I don't know if they're Disney fans. But they have all kinds of cute ones. And let's see, what did I do? I did count. You can make a wish list. Wish list. Monogram frame. So I made a wish list of monogram frames. And so all the ones that I really liked, I went and add to this wish list. And then I was like, this is still way too many. So then I narrowed it down to 4, and I made the poll. And in the poll was this one, this one, this one, and this one. And the one that won was this one, the vine crest design. So I ended up buying more than one. I bought this one and this one, because this one came in second place, the rosebud one. So I'm gonna make another one with this one later. I still might go back and get this one because I really like it. But this is the one I bought. Now, you know, I'm gearing this to the present that I'm making, but what I want you to take away from today's class is you can embroider anything you want onto your burp cloth. If you just wanted to have a name, if you like this one's cute because it's a little frame that's not necessarily for a monogram, but you can put a name in the middle and it just kind of goes around. And then, you know, all my stuff is geared for girls because they had a little girl, but they have lots of cute boy things on here that if you wanted to gear it more for a little boy, they have some cute ones. So anything that you are looking for, you can purchase. And then what I want to show you now is how to put it all together in Embrilliance. So when you purchase the frame, it's going to come alone. Let's see if I could find it. That's the rosebud one. Let me go back. This one. So when you purchase it, it's going to look like this, and it's just the frame, and it comes in 3 inches all the way to, I think 8 inches. So you pick the size you want. I'm going with the 5-inch size, and I'm using my 5x7 hoop. And so you can open up any of these in Embrilliance, but I always tend to open up PES. So I'll just double click it. And so there is the vine frame. And I want to add lettering, a lettering design to the middle. And this is where BX fonts are super helpful. And you can purchase Monogram BX fonts. And I think the one that I'm using today is from Creative Appliques. Nope, that's Creative Fabric. I thought that's what I clicked. Okay. And if you go here to fonts, and this, here we go, Monogram fonts. You can go and look at all of her Monogram fonts and find something that you like. I'm trying to find the one that I'm using. So like this one's really pretty. I think I've done that one before. I have that one. This is the one I'm using today. Or is it this one? It's this one. Elegant Circle Monogram font. This is Empire Monogram font. I like this one too. I don't know if I have that one. Then they have your typical circle. I have this one too. This is Honeycomb Natural Beaded Circle. This one's cute. And that's it. So she's got lots of choices. Some are really large, which wouldn't necessarily work for this project, like the big giant applique ones. Those wouldn't work, but these smaller ones, just pay attention because some of them, like that says small, that says medium. Pay attention because sometimes she separates them by size, even though it's the same Monogram font. This may come in extra small sizes and this one comes in extra large sizes. So pay attention to that when you're purchasing. But this is the font that I'm using today. And it comes as a BX font. So once I have my frame open in Embrilliance, I can just go to the lettering design. My little ABC will come up. And I can go to my properties panel and look at all of the BX fonts that I have installed on my computer. And here are the Elegant Circle. And I think I did the 1.5 inch. So there it is. And it says ABC. And my girl's initials are FPB. Now let's talk about monograms for a second. Now, I don't remember what her name, I just remember her monogram. I don't remember what Adam said her full name is. I think it's Fia. Let's see. I got to go way back in my text messages. Oh, that's way too far back. Okay, I can't find it. But I want to say her first name is Fia. I don't remember her middle name is the B, and her last name starts with a P. So with these kind of circular monograms, the first initial is here. The last initial is big in the middle, and the middle initial is smaller on the end, depending on the shape of the monogram. So let that be it. And now, like I said, that's for all your circular or vine type monograms. The last initial is big and it's in the middle. This is your first, this is your middle. So I hope that makes sense. Now, as far as this goes, I can just click her initials and kind of when you open it, the program automatically puts it smack in the middle of the hoop, which is right here. But if I do that, that's kind of here. It doesn't fit in the frame correctly. So I'm just eyeballing where I want that in the frame. I'm looking at like the distance from the bow to the letters and these little pieces of the vine and this bottom. So I'm just eyeballing it to see if it's right where I want it. Also with these fonts, sometimes you want it to be a little bit tighter in that I want this F to be a little bit closer and this B to be a little bit closer. And what I can do is I can just click the green box that's in the F, and I can either click it and drag it and move it wherever I want. But in this case, I don't want to lose how it's centered going horizontally, but I just want to nudge it over. So I'm going to use the arrow key on my keyboard and move it over. And I just did it one. Let's do two. All right, now I'm going to click the B and I'm going to nudge it over the opposite direction 2 times. 1, 2. So now I know I've moved them both equally, and they have the same distance between, because the top of the B is what touches close here, and the F is close on both the bottom and top. So you can eyeball that and position the other letters wherever you want. And when this stitches out, the vine stitches out first. They have 2 colors to the bow and then the letters. Now I'm not stitching my letters black, and I'm not stitching my bow these colors. If you want to visualize what you're stitching, you can click each one of these elements, click the color chip, and scroll around until you find what you think you want to do. And that will kind of give you an idea of, let's see, say I do, no, that's not the color I'm doing. I'm not using Brother's Red. I'm using Exquisite. Where is it? There. Oh, but here, this is the one I changed already, where I changed the color, the colors to the thread colors I'm actually going to use, so I can get a better visual of what my finished burp cloth is going to look like. So when you have it all set up and ready, you've merged your frame with your lettering design. You have it set up like you want it. Now you're ready to send it to your machine. If your machine does not have Wi-Fi capabilities and you have to put your design on a USB stick, this is when you would go to File, Save Stitch File As, name your design, make sure it is in the format that matches your machine, and then click over here. When I plug in a USB stick, a new little thing pops up right here. So I would click on my USB drive, have it named, have it the right format, and hit save. And that's going to save it to your USB drive. And then you safely remove your USB drive from your computer. On a Mac, there's like a little eject button right next to the name when it pops up. On a PC, I think there's a button down here where you can click and it says safely eject USB. If you have a Brother or Baby Lock machine that has Wi-Fi capabilities, you can go from Embrilliance, go to Utility, Wi-Fi, to Brother or Baby Lock. As long as your computer and your machine are on the same Wi-Fi network, you can name this and hit OK, and it will automatically go to your machine. And a little thing will pop up after you're done saying it was successful or there was an error. So you'll know if it didn't work. But I've already done that, so I'm just going to leave that there. And okay, that was a lot of talking, and I did not see any comments while I was doing that. So let me go check everything. Any questions about the whole Embrilliance part, the frame, the font? Like I said, this is something where you go and pick things that you want to do, but the process of putting it together would be the same in Embrilliance. Let's see. Yeah, so the frame is an outer design. Now, with the one I did before, this is just, and it just sits on top of the monogram. So they have some that are like that too, that are like only the top. They have some that are super cute that only go along the bottom, and then you place the monogram there. Whenever you're looking at the pictures of the frames on the website when you're buying them from Southern Baby Classic, just about everyone is going to show you an example of what it looks like with the monogram in it. So the monogram doesn't come with a design. It's just going to come with the accent pieces. And then you provide the monogram. And that's going to be, in most cases, it's going to be a separate purchase. You need to have that font already. So that's why I showed you both websites. Now, the Southern Baby Classic did have monogram fonts on her website as well. But I had already had some, so I just used what I had already. Okay. Okay, Linda. So she said, please review the steps for using a USB. Was what I explained already, was that clear to you with how to get your design onto the USB stick? When I showed you, go to File, Save Stitch File As, name it, make sure you're selecting that it actually gets saved to your USB stick. Make sure it's in the format that matches your machine, and then hit OK. And then you take the USB stick out of your computer, and that's when I talked about ejecting it safely. Computers usually don't like it when you just pull it right out. And depending on if you have a Mac or a PC, you will tell your computer to eject the USB, and then you physically go and plug it in your machine. And you should have a USB button on your machine, and it will pull up all of the designs that are on that USB. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Okay, great. Okay, yay. So Maggie said, thanks for the Embrilliance details. Very helpful. If you are struggling using Embrilliance, or you kind of got the hang of it, but you know there's probably so much more stuff you can do, I do have an online class that teaches you step by step all of the functions of Embrilliance Essentials. So now you know Embrilliance has several different programs. The course is going to be just for Essentials. And then I do plan on taking this summer to sit down and focus and make a course for enthusiasts. If you're waiting for that, fingers crossed, September, August, somewhere around there. So let me see if I got a picture of that course. Yeah, right here. It's called Embroidery Essentials. So that is a beginner course for embroidery software. It is specific for Embrilliance Essentials. I don't go over any other software in it. And it's all online. It has like over 50 video lessons. It's broken down into 12 different modules. Let's see, that was when I was having a sale. Yeah, 12 modules, separating all the parts, and you can access it from any device, whether it be a computer, laptop, tablet, phone. And if your smart TV has an internet browser, you can even pull it up on your TV. And you can go to my website, carlybell.com, and they have more information about that. Let's see. Yes, Linda, the course is $147, but I do have sales every once in a while where I take $50 off. So just stay tuned for when I have a sale, okay? But once you have it for life, and you can go and watch and rewatch the lessons whenever you want. Oh, thank you, Tina. So Tina took the course. She's learned so much. Thank you. And Robin has also taken it. Thank you so much. And then Patty's excited for the next one. I'm excited too. Yay. And Marina loved it as well. She said the Embrilliance course was awesome. Can't wait for the launch of the next one. I'm excited. I need that now. I need to actually make it. I get nervous just thinking about it. Thank you, Brenda. Okay. So that was it for Embrilliance, getting your design together, sending it to your machine, whether you have a USB or a Wi-Fi. So now let's prepare our material and hoop it so that we can go put it on the machine. Okay, let's see where we need to go. We need to go to the craft table. And so we have our cut piece. Oh, what did I do? Another great thing about Embrilliance is you can print your design, and it prints true to size and with the little crosshairs on it. So what I like to do is print it out, cut it out, and then I can have a really nice visual on where it's going to look best on my Burp. So like with this one, what did I do? Like again, this is all eyeballing. If you want it to be perfectly center between here and here, you can do that. But like I think about things like this, where I got the baby and I put that on my shoulder. I want that to be nice and visible. So I think I'd actually, for this one, I'm gonna put it a little bit lower and closer to the flannel. Another option is if you wanted to put, instead of a monogram or something, you wanted to put a pretty design here that maybe like goes along with the baby's nursery, you could also embroider the little flannel piece with a name or a birthday or anything fun like that going across on the flannel at the bottom too. So I think for this one, I'm going to put it a little bit closer to the flannel than I did. So let's see. This one was about 3 inches, so let's maybe do 2. Now I gotta take into consideration my seam allowance. So one thing I know, I want it to be center between here and here. So if I'm at 9.5, what is that, 4 3/4 is center. Okay, that moved. I'll fix it after. And then I think I want the bottom of the design to be 2 inches to the flannel, but then I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so maybe just a smidge down like this. Okay, I think that's how it's going to be. And I'm just going to double check. Like that. That looks good to me. And once I get it where I think, oh, you know what? I should have, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tape it. No, am I going to tape it? I'll just do one little tape because I need to iron the back of this. And I usually pin it in place, but I don't want to pin it with the iron. It should be okay. I'll probably end up redoing this. Let's forget that part. I have an idea of where it's going to be, but the stabilizer I'm using for this project is fusible no-show, also known as poly mesh. This is a lightweight cutaway, and depending on the types of stitches you're putting on it, it can be a little heavy for it. So I like the fusible in that it's going to keep puckering from happening because it's going to mesh with the fabric and keep it from shifting as the needle enters and adds the stitches. But it's also really kind of see-through, so it's not going to be super obvious on the inside like a cutaway would be. You would see probably the dark outline of the stabilizer when you're done. So this is a fusible poly mesh. On this one, I was a little nervous about it, so I ended up doing 2 layers of poly mesh. I'm gonna try just 1 layer on this one and see how it goes. So then, if anything, y'all can learn from my mistakes. And I'm using a 5x7 hoop. So basically what I want to do is cut the stabilizer where it's a little bit bigger than my hoop. And because I got a lot of space to work with, I'm just going to iron this to the back of my fabric, and then I will pin my little printout so that I get my placement right. So, all right, so I have my thing, so I'm going to iron it to here, the back side of it, and just on one. And then what I'll end up doing is I will end up pulling this and trimming it to where it's only has a small bit around the embroidery design. And my iron is not hot, so we gotta wait a minute for that to warm up. Let me go check the chat and see. I thought about this too, with you know, like how I had the burp cloth and the baby. So it depends on where the baby is. Yes, that, like I was holding my new nephew the other day, and when I'm holding him, his little head is up here, so this part would actually be against his body, and I need the drape to, because he did have a spit up and sit it on me, and went all down my back. But depending on how you're holding the baby. So if it's a little newborn baby and their neck is not able to support, then yeah, the mom's probably going to turn it on this side so that you got that nice softer surface, which is another reason why I like this, because on these burp cloths, when I embroider it on the back, it would have the thread showing. So it'd have a rough, the thread on the back as well. So that's going to be all up to the mama. I'm looking of it more as a aesthetic, how I want it to look. Also, sometimes moms end up not even using these and they just kind of have them for just for fun, or to have it like in their nursery, or even just like save it as a what's it called, like sentimental, to keep. Like this was, I got this when the baby was born. Like I used all my stuff. I don't remember any of it being a problem, but those are the kinds of things, you can let the mom decide if she wants to have it like this, or, depending on the baby and how you're holding them, on where the embroidery could be. But yeah, that's a great point. I'm going to go here. Okay. All right. So, oh, my grandma's calling me. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry about that. I'll have my phone on do not disturb, so it's only going to ring if somebody calls me multiple times. And my grandma is 96 years old, and she's home by herself, and my daddy's on a cruise. He lives behind her, and so he's always like, he's there to check on her every day, and if she needs anything, he's always close by, or my stepmom's close by. So that's, sorry if that was rude for answering, but I just wanted to make sure she was okay. But she was supposed to come to church with us this evening, and that's what she is fine. She was just calling to tell me she's not coming to church. Okay, so I am ironing this no-show fusible to my diaper cloth, and I'm kind of just focusing on the area where I know the embroidery is going to be, because I want to be able to pull this up when I'm done. It usually pulls up fairly easily, but I don't need to make sure all these edges are ironed down good, because the embroidery is not going right there, as long as I know where it's going, and all of this is going to be hoops, so it's going to be nice and tight. So that is the stabilizer for the diaper cloth. All right, now is when you want to figure out your placement, and then I'm going to actually pin it so that when I'm hooping it, I try to get it as centered in the hoop as possible. And then when I get to my actual machine, I'm going to make sure my needle falls right where it's supposed to in the center here. So first let's find the middle. Put it there. And then from the bottom, I can go a little bit lower. Okay, that looks good. Once I have it where I want it, I'm just going to pin that in place. So that's where it's going to be. And now I get my hoop, and that should work. So even though I need to hoop it like this because I need the material to go down to the bottom, but I'm going to end up moving my needle down here. So even though I'm not going to get my design centered in the hoop, I'm going to know right where to put it when it's ready. So I just need to have it to where it's got enough material, and I should be able to move. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to move my design probably all the way to the bottom of the hoop. Let me see if this works, because the last time I did this one, I left extra material and then I trimmed it. I probably should have done that. I was like, for this one, let me just cut it to size right away. And if anything, if my needle only lets me put the design right here, that's fine as well. Okay, so you want your hoop to be nice and tight. Well, actually, it's not at all. It's not even in here. There we go. You want your hoop to be nice and secure and tight, and kind of feel like a drum. And now it is ready to go to the embroidery machine, and I'm going to try to get my needle to where my design will stitch out right there. Let's see. Thank y'all for your comments about my grandma. Yeah, she's amazing. And she is, what's the word I want to say? She will tell you stories about when she's 14. Like, she is smart as a whip, and like, I love listening to her, you know, talk to me about her growing up and all the things that happened to her. Okay, so B has a question. You're using a flannel cloth or actual diaper for this, please? So what I know, this material was called diaper cloth. That was the name of it. It's thin. It kind of has like a texture to it. I don't know if you could see it. And when I looked at this, no, this is not the same material. I don't know what the cloth diapers are made of. It's not quite the same material. But I thought I found something else in my craft room that looked like this material. But yeah, this is called diaper cloth. And then for the bottom portion, yes, that's a piece of flannel. But all we're hooping right now is the diaper cloth bit. Okay, now we're going to go to the machine. I am using, let me get my threads too. Oh, and I think I did use, let me go back here. I did use water-soluble topper, just because I like it. I tend to use it for everything. But the stitching for the monogram is satin. And I like to make sure that my satin columns look really sharp and smooth, I guess is the word. Sometimes, depending on the fabric, now this one is not a stretch knit. On t-shirts, it definitely makes a difference. But in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to add it. But I find using a water-soluble topper helps this from getting like a feathered look sometimes. So this is my preference. I like to add water-soluble topper. Some people may think it's not needed, but my answer is it's not going to hurt it. So I got water-soluble topper, and I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece while I'm here. Okay. Oh, Wendy, I love your idea. I should video her stories. End up doing a project in school. I did this when I was younger, and it's on VHS. I have no idea where it is. So kids would probably have a lot more luck. But I videoed my grandpa and our neighbor when I was in high school, because I did a project on something called Manila Village. I grew up in Lafitte, Louisiana, which is a small like bayou community. And they had this whole area called Manila Village. And it was like some of the first Filipino immigrants come and set up a whole community like on pilings over the water down below Lafitte. And I did a whole school project on that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. That's a great idea. Okay, now we're going to the machine. All right, and I got all my thread colors. And here we go. So this is the Brother Stellaire XJ2. This is a sewing and embroidery machine. So when we're done embroidering, all I have to do is change my foot and I could press a button and this embroidery arm moves all the way out the way, and then it's a sewing machine. I absolutely adore this machine. It is the one I use the most, even more than my multi-needle, surprisingly. And if you are ever ready to treat yourself, this is what I recommend. Okay, I sent my design wirelessly. Here it is. And so I'm clicking on it and I hit set. And now this is the part where I'm gonna have to move it. All right, I'm gonna take my topper. So I got my little printout there. Yeah, I don't know how low it's gonna let me go with this. And I'm gonna hit edit, move. And I could just click my screen. Let's see. It usually tells me, yeah, I've already exceeded my hoop. I think I do better. Let me do that. Hit embroidery, then go to layout, then go to move. Okay, that's as low as it will let me get. I could turn on my little laser light and I could see right where it is, and then I need to move it. And that's as much as it lets me move it. So either I didn't hoop it centered. Let me see. I may go try it. Let me move the hoop over a little bit. So it's letting me put it like right here, and I do want to make sure it's centered. So I'm going to adjust the cloth in my hoop real quick. And nudge it over this way. And this is when maybe it might be better to start with a larger piece of material, embroider it, and then cut it to size. Okay, let's try that. No, it's still like way off. Okay. You know, I didn't have this much trouble when I did my first one, when nobody was watching. You can't be over that much. Okay, and let's go back. There we go. Now it's actually a little too low. I'm gonna go up. Okay, now my little mark is right in the center of my crosshair that I have for here. And I could even do the trace feature and like go all the way over here, and I could see it ends up nice. It's a little crooked, that's fine. Okay, I can go up and to the bottom. So those are little things I check. I've been doing that a lot with my my quilting projects to make sure I have things hooped right where I want. This machine also has a what you call, I forget what this is called, 2-point positioning system that allows you to so like when I did watch the little laser, it was kind of slightly off. If I wanted to make sure this was like just right, I can hit the 2-point positioning, and if I want to check it from left to right, so say I have it hooped where my design is, it's like a little bit like this, I can make it to where it will make my design stitch a little bit like this, and so when it comes out, it's straight. And I like to go from left to right, but you can go all kinds of different ways. So I'm going to hit from the left next. And then, yeah, it's going to go to the right and hit next. And so then I put my laser right on this crosshair. So there it is. That's good. And then I hit next, and it's going to go straight across. And see, it's above this crosshair. I don't know how well y'all can see that. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to see, but my laser light is actually probably like a 1/4 inch above the mark. So that's when I can move it and put it right on my mark. Okay, there it is. And then I hit set. And now it actually tilted my design to what it needed to be, to where it's going to stitch out just like my paper is set up. But when it comes out the hoop, it's going to be straight. I hope all that makes sense. All right, so it is ready to stitch. So now I can remove my paper, add my water-soluble topper. And sometimes you can pin or tape your topper, but it should be, I'm just going to watch it and make sure it doesn't shift everywhere. And I need to load my thread. So the first step is the vine, and I'm going to do a dark green for that. And, ooh, this design takes a long time to stitch. I'm sorry. I did not look at that ahead of time. It takes, according to this, it's going to take 31 minutes to stitch. So this might be a long tutorial with waiting on stitching. I need to thread my needle. I got a full bobbin in. I already checked it. And now I can hit start. And then the next step, this is going to be my bow, and the darker color and then the lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and put my darker color up on my spool holder so that it's ready to load once that next step goes. So we can have Q&A time while we wait for this to stitch. Oh, wait, pause. I slowed down my machine for the rope basket project I did the other day. Now, okay, it was on 500 stitches per minute, and I can move it up to 1,050 stitches per minute. Okay, now it's going to go down to 25 minutes. We save 6 minutes because the machine can stitch a lot faster. So I don't need it to go slow for this project. But some projects, you know, you do want to slow your machine down. Let me show y'all the rope basket I made if you haven't seen it yet. So again, this is another first for me. Yeah, Sherry, thanks. I forgot I slowed my machine down the other day. Okay, so if you are in my VIP membership group, this was our March class. We have a Zoom class every month. It's really fun. It's more interactive in that everyone can talk to one another, and y'all can ask me questions instead of having to do that and type. You can talk and see one another. Cameras are definitely optional. So this was our March class. And what we did was we made a rope basket, and we made it completely, I use my word for today as well, from scratch. We started with this and we made this. So we sewed the rope going around in a circle using a zigzag stitch, and we created the base, and then we stopped there. We put it on the hoop. We floated on the hoop, and we actually embroider onto it. And then once the embroidery bit's done, then we continue our circular stitching, and it's just done at a little bit of a different angle to create the sides instead of it staying flat. But this was super duper fun. Also with the VIP group, you get a free embroidery design every month. And so this was the March embroidery design, was this floral frame and then you can add whatever you want to the center, whether you want an initial or a name or a monogram or nothing at all, or a picture of a bird, whatever you'd like. But this was a super duper fun project. But that was why I had my machine slowed down, because when stitching this, we did want to slow it. VIP, lots of fun. We do a class every month, and then with the VIP group, when you become a member, you get access to a library of over, it's going to be right at 4 years. We started in April of 2021. Yeah, so 4 years of having the VIP membership group. We call it the Sip and Stitch Squad VIP membership group. And when you join, you get access to every class and every embroidery design that I have given over the past 4 years. And they have some really great classes in there. We've done, from combining sewing and embroidery. We've done quilting. We made this in the VIP group, and then the designs in this was there. This was a 2-month project, and they got all the designs for this quilt. We've done Embrilliance trainings. We've done stitch artist digitizing trainings. I have some machine-specific tutorials in there for Persona and Brother Persona, Baby Lock Alliance, all kinds of good stuff. So you can go and watch whatever you want in there, and then you get a new Zoom class and a new embroidery design every month. So it's a lot of fun. Questions while this is stitching out. Yeah, Patty. Yeah, so Shari said she hasn't tried a rope bowl yet. This was my first rope bowl, and it was so much fun to make. I made one before the class, and then I made another one during the class. But this is my first rope bowls, and I really, really enjoyed doing them. Patty, thank you. So she missed the VIP class, but it's all recorded, so she can go and watch it, and she just needs to find the rope. It's on Amazon. Yay, Sherry said VIP, so worth it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so yeah, hit me with your questions. What do y'all want to talk about while we're waiting for this to stitch? Let me, while y'all type y'all questions, let me show y'all what my next project's going to be. And I did not plan to do a video, but because my cousin just asked me to make this, but I think I might just click the button and go live when I actually make it. I think I need to do it next week. She needs it by April 12th, I think. So this is a little canvas door hanger. I bought it on Amazon. It actually came in a 2-pack canvas banner. And Chelsea sent me, my cousin, she sent me a picture, and she was like, hey, can you make this? And I was like, yeah, I can make that. But I was, let's see, I got to find the text message. So this was it. I'm gonna just show you my phone. Make it big. Okay, so this is what she sends me. She's like, can you make this? And I'm like, yeah, with the exception of the bows. I don't know how good I am at bows, but the embroidery is a pretty frame like what we're doing today with a pretty monogram and these cute little storks. And then the name is like a bean stitch going across the bottom. So I'm going to make this for her next week. But what I had to do was go on the hunt for these designs, because I think she wants it to look just like this. And I was like, okay, which I like a good challenge. So I found the monogram first. The monogram is from Schuler Studio, and you can buy the whole alphabet, and it's only a 2-letter monogram, so it'd just be the first name and the last name. You could buy the whole thing, or you can buy just the one monogram you need. So like this one's AC. You can go and buy those individually. So I got the monogram, found that. I knew that right away from looking at the picture she sent me. Oh, here it is. So that's the monogram she's going to need. I think it's MM. No, it's AS. That's what I sent her. This is the monogram that's going to be on it. It's AS. Then I found the frame. This is from an Etsy site. Let's see. Called Secret Garden Heirloom Crest. And it's by LYD Mothers Young. I'll put links to all of this when I do actually stitch this. But look how pretty that that frame is. That's the same one in the first picture, except I don't think it doesn't have this bit at the bottom. So I'll just delete that bit when I'm doing it. But it doesn't have the storks. And that's when I found the website we're using today. This is Southern Baby Classics. This was a design that they had. And I like the storks on this design. So I'm going to open this design and I'm going to separate just the stork, which is going to take a little bit of work. And that'll be a good video to show you because like right now it stitches the pink for all the pinks at one time. And I'm going to go and try and get just the stork. And then I'm going to put the frame together, the monogram together, and the stork. And I'm going to turn the stork in the other direction so that it looks more like the original picture. See, these storks are going inward. I couldn't find these exact storks, but the ones I found, she said that's close enough. And then I haven't looked, I'm pretty sure I have a font just like this, but I need to go look for it. So that will probably be a fun video to show y'all how I'm going to put this together and just go ahead and just do it live. But yeah, she's going to be in charge of the bows. I don't know. For me, it's like, what fabric is that with? It's really pretty, the fabric. It looks like a very sheer, thin linen maybe with brushed edges. And maybe they got some filling in here to keep these fluffy. I don't know. But any advice you have for me making these bows, I appreciate it. But that's the goal. That's what we're going to make. So that's my challenge. Okay. Ooh, Jenny. Schuler's 2-letter monograms are on sale through the end of the month. Okay. I'm going to have to go look. All right. Okay. So I see some questions. Let's go. All right, so first question. Ashley's asking, what embroidery machine am I using? This is a Brother Stellaire XJ2. This is one of the top of the line Brother flatbed machines. And it, I call it like my Cadillac of embroidery machines. I started with a much smaller embroidery machine when I first got started. And this one is a dream compared to my first one. One of the main things that makes this machine awesome is that it has a extra large embroidery field. It is 9.5 by 14 inches. Hoop is the largest hoop, and then it can go down to a small, even smaller than 4x4. So it accommodates all kinds of projects. The one I have is also a sewing machine. They have two models of this machine. The C1, which is embroidery only, and the XJ1 is embroidery and sewing. There are just so many great things about it. And this is my part where I'm supposed to tell you about my friend Jean. Okay, so if you are interested in getting any embroidery machine, whether you like this one or you have another one in mind, I work very closely with Sewing Machines Plus. They are where I get all of my machines and most of my supplies. Actually, I just put in a giant order for stabilizers and thread the other day. I'm waiting. I think it's going to come in the mail on Monday. But Jean is my salesperson that I work with at Sewing Machines Plus. And she is the only salesperson that can take my referrals. So if you call and say, hey, Carly Bell referred me, she can help you get the best deal possible, tell you about financing. They do offer 0% financing and free shipping around the country. And if you purchase my discount, I have a discount with them. It doesn't work on machines, unfortunately, but it does work on all of your accessories and supplies and stabilizer and thread. So if you get things to go with your machine, she can tell her, hey, can we put Carly's discount towards that? And she's going to get, you know, the lowest price possible for you. So Jean is her name. She's amazing. This is her direct phone number to Sewing Machines Plus with her extension. You can also email her at, it's Jean at, and then type it out in full, sewingmachinesplus.com. And she can call you back, because sometimes when you call, they'll either get her answering machine or another salesperson will answer, and you tell them, hey, I need to leave a message for Jean, and then she'll call you back. Or you could just email her and give her your phone number and she'll call you. But she is awesome. Okay, let me take that off. All right, so. Oh, okay, so Sherry, next question. What's my most favorite embroidery machine? I use the machine you're looking at now is the one I use the most. I do also love my, let me go change threads. Hold on, I can't do things and talk at the same time, surprisingly. I change this. So I'm going to take the dark green off, and now I'm putting on my darker tealy color for my bow. Okay, I have two other machines that I love. It's hard to narrow it down. Okay, but that is going. One is my brother. I'm a brother person. Almost all the machines I have are brother. Let me find a picture of it so I can show you. Let's see how to do it. I can't get the camera to point to the machine to show you. Add a picture. Let me find. This one. So this is another awesome machine, and it is built like an industrial machine, but it is only a single needle. So even though you see the 4 spools of thread on the back, this is still a single needle machine. Wait, let me take this off so you can see it. This is a Brother PR1X, and it has an embroidery field of 8 by 10. I always go back and forth with my projects depending on what it is. A flat burp cloth, flat towel, flat quilting projects. My go-to is my Stellaire, just about every time. But when I am doing a baby onesie or a toddler shirt or a sweatshirt or any kind of clothing really, or a bag, that is when the free arm is so nice. Now you can still do burp cloths and towels and quilting projects on here. I'm just spoiled where I got both, and so I go between the two. But if you're doing any kind of clothing, a free arm is a wonderful thing to have. Now I have another one. So that's a single needle. Oh, wait, how do I do this? Let me show you this one. This is similar in that it has the free arm, but this one has, oh no, that's the baby lock. I got the wrong picture. I have the brother version of that. There it is. I have them labeled wrong on my computer. Okay, this is the same machine. Baby Lock and Brother, their machines pretty much coincide with each other. They have almost all of the same features. The main difference is the preloaded designs and fonts on the machine, and Brother has a license to use Disney designs. So some Brother machines will have Disney designs preloaded on them, like my Stellaire does. But this is a Brother PR680W. It's hard to keep track of these names. They're just a bunch of numbers and letters. I call it a Brother 6 needle. This is the most recent model. They update it every few years to have new features. This one has Wi-Fi capabilities. It has that same 2-point positioning system that I showed you the Stellaire has. 6 needles. So for instance, this burp cloth has 4 colors in it. I could load all 4 of those colors and set the machine to go and walk away, and it's going to switch the colors automatically for me. Now, if I had a design that had 8 different colors in it, what I would do is I would set up my first 6. The machine would automatically stitch those first 6 colors, and then it would pause and it would ding and tell me, hey, it's time to put on the next 2 colors. I would exchange 2 of these spools for the next 2 colors, quickly pull through the thread path, thread the needle, and then click the button to go again, and it would do those last colors. Multi-needle machines are amazing when you're doing designs that what I call are thread only. There's no applique, there's no fabric. When you're doing applique, the machine still has to stop in between the applique steps so that you can place your fabric or trim your fabric. So depending on if I'm doing an applique design, I might just go ahead and use a single needle machine. But if I'm doing an all thread design that has multiple colors, then I can load it on the 6 needle and it would stitch it all out for me. Okay, does that all make sense? Those 3 are my favorite machines. All right, let's go. And again, Jean is your person to talk to for all 3 of those. And I would say the price-wise, let's see. This one is the least expensive. This is that great middle of the road option if you have a small flatbed machine and you want a multi-needle machine, but it's a little too much out of your price range. This is a great option, the PR1X. The Stellaire is next. That's the one you're looking at. And then the 6 needle is a little bit more expensive than the Stellaire. And 12 embroidery feel, which is the same as this. All right, let me go back to the questions. I lost my spot. I went up way too much. Let's see. Okay. Okay, here's a question. What pre-wound bobbins am I using? I use the 90 weight pre-wound bobbins. I got them off of Amazon. They're Bro Thread brand. I've been having this box for years. I'm about to get down to the bottom row. They last me forever. But the flatbed machines are different pre-wound bobbins than the free arm machines, like the ones I was just showing you. These are style A or size A, and the free arm machines use style L, and they have a magnetic option, which I like. Those I get are Filtech brand. Okay. Okay, Tina, would you use fusible no-show stabilizer for a toddler shirt? Yes. My go-to for toddler shirts is either 1 to 2 layers of fusible no-show or 1 layer of fusible no-show and 1 layer of tearaway. And depending on how you're hooping it, you can hoop the tearaway and spray some adhesive, or and then float the shirt that already has the poly no-show. Or if you want to hoop everything, you can get fusible tearaway and first iron on the poly mesh no-show and then iron on the tearaway on top. That's usually my go-to combination for toddler shirts, depending on how thin they are. The good brands like Blanks Boutique and AJ Blanks and ARB Blanks, you could probably, I would still use the poly mesh and the tearaway together. Oh no, so Daniel says she's reached out to Jean a few times and still hasn't responded. Okay, why don't you send me an email to hello@carlybell.com and I will forward your information to her, because sometimes emails just get lost. I know I'm guilty of that. I forget to check my spam folder. I've been trying to be better about checking it every day now. I'm getting in the routine of checking it every day, but there are emails that get sent to my spam folder that have no business being in my spam folder. So send me an email, and then I will forward it to her and make sure she gets it. And that could be the case for everybody. Y'all email me. Tell me what you're interested in, and then I will forward that to Jean. That's probably better than contacting her directly. I probably should tell people to do that from now on, just so that I know who's, and I can follow up. You know, I could be like, hey, Jean, you called them back yet? I just loaded my lighter mint, and then once that stitches, after that, all that's left is the monogram, which I'm going to do in the purple. That's kind of close to the flannel color. Okay. And where were we? So, Joe, I did have a happy machine for a little while, but I actually had to send it back because the whole reason Blaine sent me the happy machine so that I could use it and learn it. And then I was supposed to go to California and work the happy booth at the Road to California show and demonstrate the machine. So I had to know what I was doing, you know, before I went. So I sent the machine back to him right before the show so that they can have it. The same machine that they sent me was going to be at the show. I did really like the happy machine. It the one I had was 7 needles, and it was similar to my Brother 6 needle. One of the things they people really like about Happy is it's made in Japan. It does have, it's an industrial or a semi-industrial machine. The motor and the parts are supposed to be really good. They have a really good reputation. As one more needle, and they do make a 12 or a 15 needle as well. And the interface compared to other industrial machines I've used, because like Brother is going to be your go-to easiest interface, easiest to have a nice large screen, you know, buttons to press, navigate through it. But industrial machines tend to have a higher learning curve. And of the industrial machines I have messed with, the Happy one definitely was easier to use. The interface was easier. I'm sorry if the audio is going in and out. I hope it's still better. Okay, Tina says it's better. Okay. Yes, Kim, I do still have my Ricoma. I don't use it very often. Like I said, probably the machines that I use the most are my Stellaire and my PR1X, my single needle machine, surprisingly, because I am not making, I don't have an Etsy shop, and I'm not making the same things over and over again where I'm using the same color scheme. So for me, in my head, and I know this may be stupid, going and rethreading the machine for every single project I'm going to do. And then I'm like, I might as well just use my single needle machine, because to get it all set up, it doesn't take too long. But for some reason, for me, it makes me procrastinate using it, and that I go to my single needles more. So I do have a Ricoma 10 needle. But when I'm doing Christmas presents or when I'm doing something that I am making multiple of, that's when I go and use my Ricoma. Oh, okay. So Shari, she finally broke down and got the hooping station. Are you talking about for the Mighty Hoops? Yes, I absolutely love the hooping station for the Mighty Hoops. Okay, bobbin thread was 60 weight, Marina. Thank you, B. Brigham. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Elise, my little girl, is usually my thumbs up lady. She reminds everybody, but she's at school. Does anyone sell the L-shaped magnet pre-wound bobbins? Yes, Philtech. You can get them on Amazon, and I think also Sewing Machines Plus has them. But they're Philtech Magna Glide. Okay, sorry. I don't know why my audio, let me move my mic a little closer to my mouth. Oh, it's blinking. Let me see. I think I need new batteries. My microphone really doesn't give me much warning when the batteries go out, but I do see blinking happening. So pause. Give me 1 second, guys. Audio is going to go out while I change this. Testing 1, 2. Please let me know if the audio sounds better now with new batteries. Okay. So toddler shirt. Let me find one, and then maybe you can see what I'm talking about. This is Elise. I guess because I have the stuff on it, it's hard to tell. Let's see. I got a bunch of shirts. Well, I thought I had a bunch of shirts. Must have moved them. Okay, here we go. Here's Abigail. Here's Elise. Here's some things I made from my girls, so y'all can see. Okay. For toddler shirts, typically what I do is I turn them, inside out and on the back. The first thing I'll do is put the fusible no-show, cut a piece, iron it in place. If I am hooping the shirt, then I will get fusible tearaway, kind of looks like this, fusible tearaway, cut a piece, iron it to the shirt. Then turn it right side, and then I hoop it with both of those stabilizers. Another option is to float it. So then I would just only iron the no-show mesh, hoop the tearaway, and then float the shirt onto the tearaway. And then when I'm all done, I put the Stay So Soft, I think it's called. Fuse So Soft. This is your soft backing that you can put on that protects the baby and the kid's skin from the threads on the back of the shirt. But it does, after washing, I had somebody ask me this the other day, it does tend to pull up. Now this one is a good example of me some pointers that I've gotten since I made this is to round the corners. You see how these sharp corners? Round them. And that helps. If you have a heat press, that really helps because then you get good pressure with it. But if you take it out the dryer and it looks like this, just put it on your ironing board and iron that spot. It reactivates it and it goes right back. It's not like it's no more good. You just got to iron it back down in place. I hope that answers your questions. And I'm probably way behind in the chat. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm not way behind. Great. Okay, Tender Touch. Yeah. So every brand calls it something different. I use Stay Perfect brand. They call it Fuse So Soft. I think Sulky calls it Tender Touch. There's another brand that calls it Cloud Cover. But basically what you're looking for in the description is a fusible cover-up. And it has a soft side to it. Okay, this is a great question. Do you pre-shrink your poly mesh? There have been times where I have used poly mesh on my girl shirts, and then I go and wash them, and they are kind of wrinkly and puckering. And it is because the poly mesh stabilizer actually shrunk in the wash. Since I have switched to Stay Perfect, I have not had that problem. But if you are worried about it, what you can do is cut 2 equal size pieces of the poly mesh that you already have at home. Keep one by your machine. Don't do anything to it. Take another one, the other one, and go throw it in the wash the next time you do a load of laundry. and put it through the wash and put it through the dryer. And once it's done, take it back and compare it to your that you didn't do anything to, and look and see if it shrunk. If it did shrink, then that is a problem, and you are going to want to pre-shrink it or pre-wash it. And what you can do is just unroll it all, throw it in like one of those mesh laundry bags, and run it through your wash. I've also heard some people just wetting it and maybe putting it through the dryer. I can't remember exactly if they did something besides actually washing it. I do recommend you wash. When I make shirts for people, I tell them to wash it on a cold cycle. If they can air dry it, that's great, or the dryer on low heat. So those are some things that you can do as well. Okay, Linda has the Brother 6 needle. You have the 6 needle already. And if you were to get another machine, would I recommend the Stellaire or Persona? Definitely the Stellaire. If you already have a free arm 6 needle machine and you want, if you're more into quilting and the hoop projects, flat, where the flat bed is great. The Stellaire has a bigger hoop than your 6 needle machine. And the Persona only has an 8x8 hoop. And it's pretty much going to give you the same functionality as your 6 needle that you already have, if I'm understanding your question correctly. All right, I'm on the last thread change. Nope, I pressed the wrong button. You are threaded. Lower the presser foot. All right, now we're on the monogram. And we're done with that. And then we can start sewing it together. Yeah, Patricia said she really wants a multi-needle. She's going to look at the Happy. Look and see. I would say compare. I think when I looked at it, the Happy 7 needle was a little bit less expensive than the Brother 6 needle. However, the Brother machines do have, I've seen more promotions with the Brother machines, especially around Christmas time and Black Friday. And then usually Blaine does something good during like Hoop Fest, which is the virtual embroidery event that they have every year. It's going to be in June, like the second week of June this year. I'm going to be teaching. Actually, I just messaged him the other day, the class I'm going to teach. But they have more promotions where you can get the 6 needle and they'll throw in the stand for free. The cap driver alone is like $1,500. Some Durkee Easy frames, one of the Brother magnetic frames. I've seen some really good deals where they throw in all kinds of stuff with it. I have not seen any promotions with the Happy yet. I'm hoping maybe they'll do some more in the future. But when I got my Happy, it was just the machine, no stand, nothing came with it. But I think 4 hoops. And I never did get to mess with the cap driver, so I can't compare those. But that's the kind of things that I look for, because you got the machine, but you got to think about those other expenses. If you don't have a super sturdy table, the stands are nice. They have wheels, and then you could lock them into place. They have storage underneath. They are really a small footprint, maybe like 30 inches by 20 something inches. As far as like in my room, they're a smaller footprint. Cap drivers are expensive, and one of the reasons why people like to get free arm machines is specifically to embroider caps. Like a structured cap, I can't embroider on my Stellaire. I can take a soft hat like this one. This is a project we did in the VIP class. So I could take a soft hat like this and smush it flat and float it onto a hoop and do it on my Stellaire. But a structured hat, like this one, it's stiff and you can't smush this. So you need to have a cap driver and a free arm machine so that the cap will keep its shape, and then the machine will turn it and stitch it as it's needed. So if you're interested in doing hats, definitely want a free arm for that, and then look for deals where the cap driver is included in with your machine purchase. Okay. Okay, Joe said they said to assume a 3 foot by 3 foot space for your stand. Let me get out my measuring tape. Abigail says, you know you're in trouble when mom's walking around with a measuring tape. I'm always like, what can we fit here? What can we build here? Can we make a new piece of furniture that work here? Okay. Ow. Got about 32 inches wide and 24 inches deep. So 2 feet deep and not quite 3 feet wide. And that's from the top, because the top of the stand is wider than the bottom of the stand, the tabletop, because it goes around. Y'all want to see my messy room? This is what I'm talking about. That. You see it? How the tabletop is a little bit wider. So that was the measurements for that. Yay, we're done stitching. Okay. So that is done. We can take this off. I really like the colors. They came out really pretty. I like it. Okay. Now I need to clean off my craft table because I got a mess going on here. And I don't need to iron anything, I don't think. Okay, so we can take this out. You can just pull this and we can worry about getting all that off after. And pick all that out after. Okay, this is the back side with the stabilizer fused on. So I'm going to take this out the hoop. And see, I might be able to save this. See, even though I ironed it, I could pull it off. This might work for a 4x4 hoop that I could use it later. So when you're trimming, just be careful that you don't actually accidentally cut through your project. I've definitely put a little hole in a shirt before doing that. Save that. Okay, and then this I'm just going to trim around it. Okay, so this was only one layer of stabilizer and it seemed to work well. Like I said, on the other one I did 2 layers. So what I can tell you is if you're worried about it, go ahead and use 2 layers. It's not going to hurt to use 2 layers, just like it doesn't hurt to use water-soluble topper. If you're making something for someone and you want it to be right, you're not practicing or anything like that, you know, too much stabilizer is not going to mess it up. You know, if you'd rather be safe than sorry, you can do that. But one seemed to work fine. All right. Now we are ready to sew. Where are my pieces? And we need to change my machine over to be sewing. Let me think about this, because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I made that other one. Maybe the first thing we'll do is sew our accent pieces on. So if I want this to look like this, I'm going to take it and do right sides together. I'm going to flip it over. So this is how I want it to look. Right sides together. And I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance and do a straight line stitch across here. And then I think I will do the same thing. So this is the back side of my burp cloth. I want it to look like this. I can do that. So then that way I create the whole length of the burp cloth with the accent piece. And then we'll go and stitch the sides after. I think that's the way I did this one. That makes most sense, I think, in my head. But there are more than one way to do things. So if you have in your head that another way is better, by all means, do what you think and share with me any tips. Because like I said, this is a little more outside my comfort zone. Embroidery, I feel like I got a good grip on. Sewing, I'm still getting a grip on it. But I'm feeling better about it. Until yesterday when I sewed my quilt blocks together in the wrong direction. But it's fine. Okay, let's see. I see Donna says, do I have a list of all the items I'm using in the description? Yes. And Facebook doesn't let me put as many links. Let's see. Donna, you're on Facebook. So the first link, I think, in the description is the Sip and Stitch homepage. If it's not the first link, look until you see the Sip and Stitch homepage. Click on that one. That's going to take you to my website where I do have a detailed list with a link to this diaper cloth, a link to the website I bought the frame, a link to the website I bought the Monogram font, a link to the machine, the stabilizer, scissors, like everything, bobbins. That's all on there. Okay. Like I said, this is the back side. Right sides together. And then we'll go over to the machine and I'll show you how I switch it over to be a sewing machine. One thing I have not invested in yet though, but I'm still holding off until like I feel like I really need it. But I'm using all of my embroidery thread to sew with. I have 40 weight polyester embroidery thread, and a lot of it. So what I've been doing for my sewing projects is, you know, unlike embroidery where I use the same bobbin thread for everything, for sewing, I will wind a bobbin with my top thread and use that for my sewing projects. But one day I will invest in some cotton threads. I always look at the pretty Aurifil sets and like, ooh, I want this, but I don't need it. Not right now. All right, I'm going to take my purple thread out and I'm going to hit OK on my machine and I'm going to go home. Okay. On my home screen, I got sewing, embroidery, Disney, my design center. It's sewing. And when I do that, it says the carriage of the embroidery unit will move. Keep your hands away. Okay. Now that moves out the way. Can y'all see all that? You see how it moved all the way to the edge there? So now I have all this space to sew. And if I need more than this, I can take this whole embroidery arm off and put on the regular sewing arm, or I could leave it like a free arm. Or if you have like a sewing cabinet, you could put it in a sewing cabinet to where everything's like flush. I would like one of those one day too, but again, don't need it. So now it's in sewing mode, and I'm just going to use white thread, and I've already wound a bobbin with the same white thread so that my top and bottom will be the same weight, which is 40, unlike my bobbin is 90. So where's my, I already lost it. Here we go. That's my thread. And bobbin I wound with the same white thread. Load that counterclockwise, pull a good bit out. That's always my little system I have whenever I load a bobbin, especially with embroidery. It's important to make sure your bobbin tension set right by making sure you load the bobbin correctly. Okay, I need to change the foot. I still am in embroidery mode. Let me raise. Okay, so it's saying remove the LED embroidery foot. It has a plug in the back. I have to unplug. See that? And I use a little screwdriver tool. Loosen this screw. And now this whole thing comes off. So that's your embroidery foot, and it connects to your machine so that you can use the laser with it. Now, where's the regular sewing foot? This, I keep all my stuff back there so I can grab it easy. This is a straight stitch sewing foot with a 1/4 inch guide on it, so that it makes it easier to sew that 1/4 inch seam allowance. I also have this fancy foot that came with the machine. This is called a dual feed foot, or a move it foot, and it came with this bit, which is just a plain foot, I would say, like your universal foot. This is the 1/4 inch seam guide foot that's like this, but fits this machine. And then I also got this one. This has a guide right in the middle, and this is for stitch in the ditch when I do quilting. So I like this foot. I've been using it a lot. And I don't know, whichever one y'all want me to use. Do y'all want to see this one in action, or you want me to just use the regular foot that probably everybody has for their machine? Let me go check the comments. Y'all tell me, y'all want the fancy foot or the normal foot? Oh, I see someone talking about I have to take notes, otherwise I forget. Oh, I am the same way, Rita. If I don't write it in my phone or in my computer, I lose every notebook I write things in. So it's got to be a digital thing for me. But I love notebooks, but I have too many of them, and then I forget, well, which notebook did I put it in? Okay, so I got some votes for the normal foot. So let's do the normal foot so y'all it will relate to what you have at home. But that's a really nice foot. If you get the Stellaire, you're going to love it. Marina is the one that turned me onto that foot and showed me those specialty accessories that you can get for it. All right, so this just goes on, and that's it. Now the machine is in sewing mode. I do need to move my needle to where it's not on the left guide, but on the center, which is option number 3 for me. I also have the option of a back stitch or a locking stitch on here. And then there's, I'm going to say a million, I'm exaggerating, tons of different types of stitches on this machine. But we're just using the simple straight stitch. No problem. Okay. And there's some other things I could turn on, like I want it to automatically cut when I do a reverse stitch. I want the presser foot. I can even put a laser guide out so I can see right where I'm stitching. All these fancy things you can do with your sewing machine. But I am going to lower my foot And I am strange in that I sew standing. Can y'all see? I want to make sure I'm not getting my shoulder in and making the camera blurry. Back stitch. And this little guide foot just helps me guide my fabric, and you can go as slow or as fast as you're comfortable with. And then do a reverse stitch. All right, and now we have, that is the back part of the burp cloth, and now let's do the front. All right, and now that is done. So now we can just go put it together where we sew the sides. Okay. Oops. All right, so this is what we are left with, and let me make my iron warm up. It is always good to press your seams before you move on to the next step, especially when those seams are going to line up with something else. So I'm going to press those. You can either press them all to one side or you can press it open. I think I'm going to do open in this case so it doesn't get too bulky right there. All right. And let's see. Ashley says top stitch. Yes, so what we're going to do, if I'm understanding you correctly, we're going to take our burp cloth, whether yours is in two pieces or not, you're going to put them right sides together. And you're going to line up these seams here like that. And we are going to stitch going down and then leave a hole and then go around and back up. And because mine is one piece, I don't need to stitch across, but if you need to stitch across, do that. And then we'll turn it right side out and we will tuck in the little hole that we had down here and we will top stitch around the whole thing like so. Does that make sense? Top stitch the seams down behind the purple fabric. I didn't do it here, but you can if you want to. By all means, whatever you think will look nice. But yeah, if you want to do a top stitch there, if you wanted to fold this over and do a stitch on this side and keep it down, that would also look great. Whatever you think. My iron's not even hot. Come on, iron, warm up. Wake up. All right, Linda says she loves the idea of using the diaper cloth fabric because the regular cloth diapers that you purchase pre-made are so wonky and thick in the middle. Yes, definitely. I don't have any of my girls' burp cloths, I think, accessible to me at this moment. But yeah, they're like, even like with this one, like sometimes I was trying to measure the middle and like they're not straight at all. Like they're not square. So yeah, I like this too. It just makes it a little different, a little something different. My dog is fussing at me. Ozzy, it's gonna be okay. Let me iron this piece too because it's some wrinkles on it. Okay, so that is done. Now, like I said, I'm gonna line up these seams here. Like that. And then, I don't know if this matters, but some of my quilty friends taught me, go in on this side and come out on this side. It will help make sure that that stays where I want it to when I'm sewing it. Okay, like that. And then I'll go ahead and add a few more pins, or you can do clips if you want. And like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to stitch, we're going to stop and leave a hole. I can guesstimate how big the hole is going to be. Let's do maybe 5 inches. Well, do this. This is a hole. I don't think I need that much room, but it's better to have more than not enough. I could probably go smaller with that. Let's do something like this. We're going to top stitch it when it's done, so you will see. All right. And I probably did not pin this as much. I probably have some of y'all that pin things a lot more than I do. I usually don't even pin at all. So this is a step for me. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Like I said, I'm using one piece, so I'm not going to worry about this top right now. And I'm going to go down and then to where I have my marker where my opening is going to be. And using that 1/4 inch foot makes it easy to see my fabric go right up on that edge and have a decently straight seam. Okay, now I'm coming up on this one. I want to make sure that lays flat, and I'm going to grab my stiletto hold that. Okay, and I'll pivot. And I'll stop there. And you want to make sure you definitely do a back stitch, reinforcing stitch right here, because you're going to put some pressure on that when you stitch it. And now I'm going to move to over here and go again. Same thing, reinforcing back stitch. Pivot. I'll probably go trim all of those little extra pieces that are fraying off the edge after. Since this is kind of thin, and you might see them through. All right. So we got this almost done. All right. So now we have it stitched going 3/4 of the way and then leaving a hole. And we're just going to turn it right side out. And this is all super soft. Not like vinyl. Like when you're turning a bag inside out. Ooh, that could be a pain. And then you are just going to go in and turn these corners out. You could probably just do it with your fingers, or if you have like a chopstick, or even like I like to use a eraser bit of a pencil. And then we're going to press it. We're going to fold in our, what's going to be the seam allowance for our hole, press it, and then go around and top stitch the whole thing. Yay, that looks cute. And I still need to get all the water soluble. So you could either just pick this out with tweezers or your fingernails. I don't like to wet it when it's got big pieces on it because it turns like very gooey. I only like to wet it when I have like very minimal pieces left. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of roll the seams out, and then we're gonna press it. And then I forgot. So here, we're going to fold this in and this in where our hole was. Oh, I forgot to trim all those pieces on the inside. Oh well. I can't see none. I don't think it matters. I'm never any good at this, like trying to get the seam to where it's like rolled all the way open. It always seems like it's still bunched some. Okay. And now that it's all pressed, I'm going to go back to the machine and just do that top stitch all the way around. Lisa said, can you rewatch this video? Yes, as soon as the live is over, the replay will be available immediately after on YouTube and on Facebook. And then if you're watching on Facebook and you want to watch like a month or two from now, you will have to go to YouTube to watch it because Facebook is now deleting live videos after they have been on for 30 days. So if you are more of a Facebook user than a YouTube user, I highly suggest going and making a YouTube account. It's nice to make them because then you can, what's the word? Save videos and you can interact with comments and things like that. If you have a Gmail account, you actually already have, this is not going. Come on, move. Oh, no. Let me cut. The flannel's not moving nice, and that's when that move it foot probably helps more. Let me start on the diaper cloth. Might go under the feet better. Let's start here. No, still not. There we go. Pivot. I always think of Friends when I say pivot. Sorry, I'm a little crazy with the presser foot. It's a little bit harder to do, not the presser foot, the foot pedal when you're standing. And to give it a little bit too much juice sometimes. All right, and we are officially done with our homemade embroidered burp cloth. Hey, that came out super cute. I like the purple. hope my neighbors like this. Okay, this is it. And it came out cute. Just eyeballing. I see a little bit of puckering right here. So maybe using the 2 layers of poly mesh is going to be my recommendation when you're doing this. I did 2 layers on this one. But I think it still looks great. I love this material. I love this flannel. I got all this flannel I got at Walmart as well, but I got it like years ago. And I got it in like 4 different colors. I got pink, mint, baby blue, and then the purple. Years. 2015. That's when I got this. There's a sticker. But I'm sure you can find something similar if you really like this fabric like I do. But love the design. Very, very cute. I think this is a really nice sentimental thing for the mom to keep after as well, and then maybe share with her daughter when she grows up and has baby girls. That's something I think about when I save all the things for my girls when they were babies. I'm saving it for when they get older. If they have little girls, they could share it with them. I also have an idea, and this is probably a project for way in the future, but like the shirts I was showing you, I'm thinking about using, and I know I'm going to do this with their school shirts, but the things I've made them, that's applique with their name. You know, they're more than likely when they grow up, if they have a little girl, they're not going to name her Elise, so that this could actually be reused. But I was thinking about using like my orange pop rulers that I use for my quilting and cutting out blocks out of their embroidered shirts and then making them a quilt or a little blanket with all of their appliques from all of their toddler and little girl shirts that I made them as they were growing up. So, but then it's hard, like I don't want to cut up the shirt. I don't know. I did save, every year they get a new what they call a spirit shirt at school. And those are just regular printed t-shirts. I have saved all those and I want to make a t-shirt quilt with that. So anytime they've had like field day or their spirit shirt, or they wear Saints shirts, since we have the Saints football team here, I saved all those, and that will be a t-shirt quilt for later. But I thought maybe that would be good for the little applique baby things and toddler things I made for them. Okay, good. Y'all like it too. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed the class. Let's see. E-Dub is like, I need to learn how to sew and overlap. I feel you. Look, I am not an expert at sewing by any means, but the only way to learn it is just to go ahead and try it. Like, I was scared to death to use the sewing machine before this. I literally said I can't sew a straight line, and then I found that foot, that 1/4 inch foot. I'm like, oh, this helps a lot. So just play with it. The next thing for me is, like, I really want to learn how to quilt traditionally, not using my embroidery machine. And it's just all in my head. I just need to sit down, cut some pieces of fabric and sew it together, and see how it goes. And I see all these beautiful things that people make with quilted fabric. And I'm like, I want to do this. And we just got to try. We just got to get outside our comfort zone and try new things. So if embroidery is outside of your comfort zone, that's where I feel like I can really help you. I can teach you all the things on your machine, hooping, stabilizer, where to find all the cute fonts and embroidery designs. I have tons of free resources on my YouTube channel, on my website, carlybell.com. I have a whole section that says, if you are new to embroidery, start here. And I kind of go through everything. And then if you want, hand holding, you want me to really help guide you to use your machine, I have a full online course. And that's what I feel like my goal with that course is, to hold your hand and teach you everything that I wish someone would have taught me when I got my embroidery machine. So I do have that resource as well, that's called From Start to Stitch, and goes through everything you need to know to make beautiful things with your embroidery machine. But I hope you enjoyed today's class. And if you make any of these, I want to see them. I have a free Facebook group. Anyone can come join. It's super awesome community of crafters who are very helpful answering questions. I pop in there every day and answer questions. And you can post things that you make, show, you did something, or what stabilizer should I use for this? Great community to be a part of. So if you make something, post a picture in the Facebook group or tag me on Instagram or one of those things so I can see it, because I love seeing the things that y'all make. All right. Let's see. I'm just checking the chat real quick before I go. Oh, that's so nice. So Visionary Creations, she has a quilting instructor and she referred them to me for embroidery and Embrilliance. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tell me your quilting instructor. I want to follow them. Okay. Oh, Linda, tell me about this. She has had her students practice straight line stitching without thread using regular notebook paper. Oh, I get it. So just puncture the holes in the notebook paper and see if you could follow the line. That's a great idea. If I had a line drawn on my fabric, I think I could follow it good. I love that though. Thank you for that suggestion. All right. So, yep, that's it for everybody for today. Upcoming things. If you are a From Start to Stitch student, that course I was just telling you about that teaches you all the fundamentals of machine embroidery. We have a live Q&A session every month just for students, and we do it the first Wednesday of every month. So that is next week. So if you are a From Start to Stitch student, we are going to have our April monthly Q&A session next Wednesday, April 2nd at 10:30 a.m. And that's going to be in the student Facebook group. So you can attend that if you're a student. And then what's next after that? I'm going to do a takeover Tuesday on Tuesday, April 8th on Sewing Machines Plus YouTube channel and Facebook group. I go live on their channel and teach a class. I have not figured out what class I'm teaching in April yet, but as soon as I do, I will let you know. And then our April Sip and Stitch. Let me go back and look at my own website so I can remember what we're doing. April 25th. It's Friday, April 25th. Oh, I'm excited about this. We're going to make like a tote bag with a cute book design for book lovers. And so like this could be your tote bag that you go back and forth to the library with or go to your friend's house with. But there are tote bags. And the reason why I want to do this, because it's going to be this on a flatbed machine. Tote bags are easy to do on a free arm machine, but not so much on a flatbed machine. But I have found tote bags that are made. Let me show you. This is what I mean by tote bag. So here's one. When did I make? This is like from 2020. I can't even remember when we did this, but I made this tote bag. And it can be done on a flatbed, but it's not as fun. But I found tote bags that have the ends are finished, but they're not sewn together. So this side is open and this side is open so that it lays open kind of like our burp cloth did and is completely flat. So then we can embroider it very easily on our flatbed machine and then use our sewing machine and just stitch those two sides up and boom, be done. You could also probably make a tote bag from scratch if you'd like, but for those that don't feel like they're at that level yet and you just should sew a straight line, they're specifically made for embroidery, and it's a blank. So that's what we're going to be doing in our April class. I'm really excited, and I have some ideas of some cute book designs to put on there, but as soon as I find the cute one, I will post it on the Sip and Stitch homepage so you can see everything that I'll be using. Okie dokie. B. Brigham, what size is the font? Oh, are we talking about this font or the font we did on the burp cloth today? If it's this font, let me go ahead and measure it. This is what we call a Vine monogram font. And it's the same pattern like we did for the Burp cloth, where the last name is big and in the middle, first name, middle name. That is 5 inches tall, is the big letter in the middle. And it's like 6.5 inches wide. I did this on my 5x7 hoop, 5x7 machine when I did it, because this was back in the day when I only had the PE 770 when I made this. So it can be done, but I want to show you something else that you can do that will make it easier, especially if you have a machine that has a larger hoop and you really want to make a big old design. Having that bag opened already will make it much, much easier. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday and great weekend, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.